church. She used to say things like, too much friends not good for you. Or all skin teeth not laugh. Go read a book. And that I did. I buried myself in series of books like Nancy Drews, Hardy Boys, Harley Quinn Romance, for you know, who remember from back in those days. Now, this is no condemnation of my mother, because she was simply trying to raise me the way that she was raised by her mother. But the difference is that my mother came from a family of 5 girls and 1 boy, which was the total opposite to me. So she had a lot of sisters and, at home. I didn't have that. Then by the time I got to high school, I ran into another problem when I was bullied by a set of girls from my neighborhood. Back in Guyana, we call it teasing. To be honest, I don't even remember what started the beef with these girls. But it was then that I realized that I suffered from a serious bravery deficit. It was 3 of them, 2 sisters and a cousin. And they relentlessly and mercilessly tormented me, calling me names with reference to an animal. They talked about my eyes, my forehead being too big, my teeth, my mouth was too long. And I didn't stick up for myself. I didn't know how to. I had never learned how to fight because I never had anyone to fight with. On top of that, I was really skinny and I hated my body with a passion. Some people used to call me fine things. I would laugh, all right? And say I was walking on my hands because my legs were so skinny. Over time, right about when I was 16 years old, I developed serious body image issues, self-confidence, low self-esteem. I had internalized everything that they were saying and believed all of these terrible things that these mean girls were saying about me. And I relentlessly compared myself to others. I developed, a case of wanting to be, I wanted to gain weight and be thick. I wanted to be pretty and be the popular girl. I wanted to be like my friends and go out to parties. I wanted to be these girls. I wanted these mean girls to stop teasing me and, I just wanted to be. Fast forward to 2 years later, when I was 18, my beloved dad passed. And suddenly, he died just suddenly. Overnight, he was gone. And I was devastated. This is the first and only man who I loved, who had loved me with all my flaws and my low self-esteem issues. Then just 2 months after my father passed, my mother had an opportunity to move to the States. So she called this meeting and she said, I have an opportunity to go to the States, but I'm going to have to leave you guys behind. So at 18, I was tossed into this role of becoming the caregiver for my younger brothers. It was 3 of them. Okay? But I did it with pride. But then I started looking for relationships to fill this void of losing my dad so suddenly and my mom having to leave. And then at 19, I got pregnant. I not only feel disappointment for my family, but now I was jeopardizing my chance to join my mom and my family in America. And it did jeopardize my chance for a while, because now that I had a son, I had to stay behind. My brothers left 3 years later, and I had to stay behind. So I started obsessing, am I going to be able to join my family? It took another 3 years for my son and I to join my mom in Queens. However, the move created a bit of a transformation for me. After getting over this culture shock of moving to a big city from a small country, I gradually began to realize that all these things that I believe about myself were all lies. You see, we didn't own a TV back then in Guyana. That was over 26 years ago. I've been here a while. So one of the biggest revelations for me when I got here was realizing that women here wanted the opposite. Here I am obsessing about my body and wanting to gain weight. And then you turn on the TV here, and what do you see? All this weight loss advertising. People wanted to lose weight. So here I am, wanting to gain weight, and they wanted to lose weight. And it was the early 90s. And you had women like Tyra Banks strutting the runway. And what is she known for? Are you for it, right? Mm-hmm. And then you had this phenomenon of women, doing things to make their eyes, they wanted this big eyes and, wanted this wide mouth. So, that revelation, I got that revelation that, all these, what I was hating about myself was actually a thing here. And over time, I learned to embrace these wonderful and unique things about myself. I had to learn and believe that I was enough. But it doesn't happen overnight. Actually, it takes years. I'm still a work in progress. You see, God will lead you to unwanted places, but he doesn't keep you there for long. Amen. I had a few more hurdles to jump over. And I went on to have a fairly successful life. I also met a very wonderful man during my lowest points, and we've been married now for almost 20 years. I also had a second son who's now a freshman in college. So I want to share with you 7 tips to help you remember when you're feeling like you're not enough. The people you compare yourself to, they themselves compare themselves to other people. They're not perfect, right? We all compare. So we want to be like someone else, but they're comparing themselves to someone else too. They're not perfect. Your mind can be a very convincing liar, and I've learned that, right? There's a quote that says, "Don't believe everything you think." There's more right things about you than there are wrong things. Here's another powerful quote from John Kabat-Zinn. Until you stop breathing, there's more right with you than what's wrong with you. You need to love the most when you feel you deserve the least. It's difficult to accept love and understand from others when you're in a state of anger, shame, anxiety, depression. But love is actually the greatest gift that you can receive during such time. Focus on now and not on the past. Focusing on the past will keep you stuck and feeling sorry for yourself. I had to get over that. And blaming others. I couldn't keep on blaming these women and blaming these girls. And the girls that tease me, I ran into one of them on a train here years ago. And we sat across from each other. She looked at me, I looked at her, we didn't say anything. But I'm thinking to myself, now you're alone. But it's not like I was going to do anything, right? But the thought just crossed my mind. Focus on your progress rather than perfection, right? And how far you've come, rather than how far you have left to go. Don't try to get it right. As I said at first, I'm still a work in progress after all these years. And the final tip is, you can't hate your way into loving yourself. You must practice self-love. You are more than enough, just as you are, and self-love will be a little bit easier every time you remind yourself of that. 7 years ago, I launched an empowerment platform to celebrate Guyanese women, and I named it Guyanese Girls Rock, as Linda said. The name was actually inspired by another powerful women's movement called Black Girls Rock, right? And as Linda mentioned, there's Caribbean Girls Rock, there's Haitian Girls Rock, so it's not limited, it's a movement. I like to refer to it as a movement. But in deciding on that name, right, and wanted to decide on this name, Guyanese Girls Rock, I decided to look up what the word rock means. Remember, I'm from Guyana. Things mean different. Some things are different, means different things to us. And what I learned, well, this is according to the Urban Dictionary, was that the word rock suggests that the person or thing that's being referred to possess some sort of special qualities. It's also an expression used to convey admiration of a person's skills or talent. And I certainly believe that to be true, right? And to all the other women here today, from a different nationality, this quality also applies to you. So in closing, I want to leave you with an affirmation that I created and I use with the young women. I also created a Young Women's Leadership Academy. In addition to Guyanese Girls Rock, I established Guyanese Girls Rock Foundation, and we have a leadership academy for high school girls in Queens. And I wanted to give them a space and a platform to deal with some of the things that we teach them: leadership, we teach them confidence building, how to handle bullying. It's a 2-hour program. And the first hour we teach a leadership course, the second hour we bring in women in position of influence to come in and talk to them about these things. So in closing, I want you to repeat this with me. It goes like this. I am more than enough.
I am more than enough.
I was born to rock.
I was born to rock.
Again, I am more than enough.
I am more than enough.
I was born to rock.
I was born to rock.
Thank you so much.